Foundation Level Objective 4.52 K2. Classify the different options for writing acceptance criteria. You will get a question about writing acceptance criteria in the exam. First question: which of the following best describes the way acceptance criteria can be documented? A. Performing retrospectives to determine the actual needs of the stakeholders regarding a given user story. Not true. Retrospectives are not meant to record acceptance criteria. Rather, they are meant to record lessons learned and enhance the development and testing process. B. Using the given ASH when then format to describe an example test condition related to a given user story. Correct. This is a best practice to document acceptance criteria, especially in BDD. C. Using verbal communication to reduce the risk of misunderstanding the acceptance criteria by others. It's best practice to physically document the acceptance criteria as part of a user story. Verbal communication will not help here. D. Documenting risks related to a given user story in a test plan to facilitate the risk-based testing of a given user story. Incorrect. Acceptance criteria are related to user stories, not a test plan. The correct answer is B. Second question. Consider the following acceptance criteria for a user story written from the perspective of an online store owner. Given, when, then, and the user should be able to input a name and price for the new item. In what format is this acceptance criteria written? Per the syllabus, the rule-oriented format includes formats like bullet point verification lists or tabulated forms of input-output mappings, explicitly showing the rules to be followed. Given, when, then is a scenario-oriented format because it describes a scenario to be verified. The answer is B, scenario-oriented. We haven't heard of the other formats in the syllabus. So for sure they have nothing to do with acceptance criteria. Third question. Which of the following provides the best example of a scenario-oriented acceptance criterion? This question is very similar to the previous one. We simply need to look for a scenario-like format. Steps that the program needs to follow to achieve a goal. A. The application must allow users to delete their account and all associated data upon request. This is a format of a business rule or a feature. There are no scenarios here. According to the modal answer, this is an example of a rule-oriented acceptance criterion. It could be a bullet in a bullet point verification list. B. When a customer adds an item to their cart and proceeds to checkout, they should be prompted to log in or create an account if they haven't already done so. This is an example of a scenario-oriented acceptance criterion. This must be the correct answer. C. If contain product23.name and cart.products, then return false. This is a format of a line of code in some programming language. We don't use this format to define acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria should be written in a language that the stakeholders can understand. D. The website must comply with the ICT Accessibility 508 standards and ensure that all content is accessible to users with disabilities. Again, there are no scenarios in this format, so option D is incorrect.